My thoughts my question is about the 2024 season. 2023 was interesting as far as,
Yeah.
the playoff format, new rules, all these other things. So 2024 is not only going to continue implementing these rules, some adjustments, but now there's all this monetary value in one team. And these players are getting paid a ridiculous amount of money. What do you think it's going to look like in 2024 as far as baseball, over the overview of it?
Man, that's a great question. You're talking like the regular season and postseason as a whole?
Just the regular season. Postseason, I feel like, is a different, fully different show. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, because that's exactly what I was thinking in my head. But I honestly I think it's gonna be the regular season that's dominated by the Dodgers, at least as far as the headline goes. And for the most part, it's like the Dodgers, their stars are gonna be like they're gonna have the same stars. They're just adding Yamamoto and Ohtani, which, I mean, when you say just adding, that's $1 billion of players.
Casual.
But it may take a little bit of time for it to gel, because there's going to be so much turnover on that roster in terms of adding those two players, and then a lot of their bench players and like bottom of the lineup hitters are going to be free agents, and they're going to be relying on some young players. And I think at first it could be. I mean, I want to make this abundantly clear. They're going to be a great team. They're going to be a historically great team. But like, it wouldn't surprise me, at least early on, if there is some bumps in the road, because it takes some time to mesh. And like, Dave Roberts is going to have to figure out the lineup each and every day. He's got to like make sure every player is happy, and that takes a lot of work, especially when you're working with an all-star team at this point.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be the offseason or the regular season that's dominated by the Dodgers. And it wouldn't surprise me if a team like the Atlanta Braves or the Philadelphia Phillies really contended in the National League as well. I mean, obviously, that's not necessarily like the breaking news there. I mean, both of them are great.
You're like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm like, whoa, relax, Phillies and Braves.
Whoa, yeah. Boy, going on the limb here. We love it, but I'll tell you, it's
cold take.
And I'll tell you, like, with the way that the offseason is trending and how little activity is coming from Boston, I think one of the bigger storylines could be Boston fans really just becoming increasingly frustrated with that team and the direction that they're going. Because they've been connected with a lot of these big names in previous off seasons. They have come up empty for the most part. They traded Mookie Betts. They lost Xander Bogaerts. This offseason, we've heard increased frustration with their lack of aggression in terms of big targets like Yamamoto, or we even saw a report the other day that they might be outpriced for like a Jordan Montgomery or even a Lucas Giolito type, which is wild to me considering Boston's a big market. But it wouldn't surprise me if that frustration came to a head. But to circle it all back, I think this is the regular season of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I feel pretty comfortable in saying that.
And now that we mentioned it, what are your thoughts on the playoff format? It was certainly unique. Would we have seen the Diamondbacks and Rangers should it have been like the old school way?
Honestly, like, I was asked about this quite a bit as it was happening, and like, I don't have any issue with it because, I mean, these teams, they won fair and square. It's not like any of them were cheating or anything like that. It's like, I mean, the Diamondbacks, they got there fair and square. It's not like they had an easy path to the World Series either. They had to go through the Milwaukee Brewers, who I thought were going to run through the Diamondbacks. Then they swept the Dodgers, and then they beat the Philadelphia Phillies. And I give them all the credit in the world. They did an awesome job. And the Phillies, they ended up beating the Atlanta Braves for a second consecutive year to advance in the postseason. And I personally don't have any issue with it whatsoever. Okay. I know there's certain people who do have an issue with it, but I'm of the opinion that I don't have an issue with it. I think baseball should keep it. I mean, if they want to change it, then so be it. But any team complaining about that time off affecting them, that sounds like sour grapes to me. I don't like that.
When you say certain people, who do you mean?
Certain people in terms of
complaining about it.
Oh, just like fans or whatever. I'm not saying like. I'm glad you asked that, because it's I don't want to. Yeah, I'm really glad you asked that, because it's like fans, like, you don't hear, like, it's not like players or coaches or whatever. It's just a lot of, at least on the record, I should say that, but just a lot of fans complaining about it, and citing that as a reason why their team lost. Your team lost because they got beat fair and square, and they lost in a 5 or a 7 game series. It's none other reason than that, in my opinion.